Welcome to the Buy Box Experts podcast. We bring to light the unique opportunities brands face in today's e-commerce world.
Welcome to the Buy Box Experts podcast. This is Eric Stopper. Today's episode is brought to you by Buy Box Experts. Buy Box Experts takes ambitious brands and makes them unbeatable. We've got a team of consultants. I am one of them. I would love to talk with you about your Amazon presence. Things are wild. Amazon hates you. We get it. Come and talk to us. We'll run the right reports. We'll tell you where you need to look. Go to buyboxexperts.com, click on the free analysis button, and you'll be connected with me or a member of my team. Today, I am pleased to be joined by Seth Spears, co-founder, CTO, and chief marketing strategist at Wellness, a personal care line product crafted from the highest quality ingredients. He is also the chief marketing officer of Wellness Mama, the top-ranked health and wellness website for moms and families, which his wife Katys started back in 2009 as a vlog. He painstakingly grew that page to over 10 million in monthly page views. Seth runs his own digital marketing consultancy called Spears Marketing and is all about generating new customers using online strategies. And I brought him on to talk about how to generate new customers both on and off Amazon in 2020. Seth, welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
So you are a busy guy. You got a lot of things on your plate. I listed at least 5 hats that you wear. And I understand that you were in a normal job for a number of years and then got out of it. Just tell us a little bit about that transition.
Sure, yeah. So the last quote unquote real job I had would have been, which I left, was in 2009. I was working for a university as the assistant director of admissions, helping recruit students to college. And so I helped with some of their marketing and the strategy surrounding that and trying to get, it was a small liberal arts college. And so trying to entice students to come there when we're trying to compete against some of the bigger schools and they're able to offer more money and, all those things like that.
Right. And then you just said, forget this.
I was there for about 4.5 years or so.
Okay.
4.5, 5 years, somewhere around there. And I got sick of it, I just got really burnt out with working there. Just realizing that no matter how hard I worked, no matter if we met our numbers or not, I wasn't getting compensated additionally for the extra work that I would do, or for how many new students I would bring in, or going above and beyond just the normal salary. Plus the salary wasn't very good. So it was like one thing led to another. And finally I was like, I'm out. I got to figure out what I'm doing. I'm going to go out on my own and do consulting, helping homeschool students prepare for college. Because I was homeschooled in high school. And so I understood what students needed to do to prepare for college, and also what on the university side, what they were looking for so that they could increase their chances of getting in.
So you stuck to what you knew. You went into an area that you already had some experience in.
Well, I saw a need there, and I realized that I had a skill set in the background that could hopefully help with that. To kind of complicate it though, I was married with 3 young children as well. So, and going out on my own and without any actual revenue stream, but had some savings. So that was fun. Terrifying.
Did that business take? Was it successful?
It was a great learning experience.
The entrepreneur's smoke wall.
I would not say that it was monetarily successful, although the website that I built, and I put out a lot of content, and both written and video and things like that. And I ended up selling that website several years ago. And so I made a little bit of money on it that way. So that was kind of cool. So like the first entrepreneurial venture that I ever tried, I ended up selling it and was profitable there. So.
Nice. And that same year, okay, so Katie starts this vlog, or she's talking to you about it. What spurred her wanting to start Wellness Mama?
So basically in 2006, we were newly married, had just had our first child, I was working for the college. And she was a journalism major in college, and then had gone back to school for nutrition. And she was in school for nutrition at the time. And she was having some health issues and trying to figure out what was going on, and also realizing that the health of the current generation was going down with obesity and diabetes and cancer and Alzheimer's and heart disease and all of this stuff, just realized that the current generation coming up was going to have a lower life expectancy than the prior one. And so that really scared her. And so she's like, I got to figure out how to improve my health and fix my own health issues and for our kids and our family too. So originally I've always been a tech early adopter. And so I encouraged her to start a political blog, because remember, this was back in the mid 2000s when all the political blogs were going crazy, both spectrums, left and right. That's when HuffPo was just getting started, and Red State, Blue State, Michelle Malkin, and Daily Costs, and all of these. And so I saw a lot of potential there, as far as just because she was a great writer. Hey, start a political blog. She's like, no, if I do that, I'm going to go crazy, and I'd rather write about health, and just because I'm already researching these things, and why not just kind of write out and journal about the things that I'm discovering. It was kind of her philosophy. And so she did. And so that was over on, like, remember a Blogger, blogspot.com, one of the first blogging platforms that Google bought. So that was over there. And so she would just kind of wrote kind of haphazardly and stuff. As she felt like it, as she was discovering new information and things like that. So it wasn't a big thing at all. So in 2009, as I was leaving the college that I was working for, and I was going out on my own doing the independent consulting for homeschool students, she decided to get a little bit more serious about it, because she had finished her nutrition degree and started writing a little more regularly. We also realized that as I'm going out on my own, if I'm going to consult for students, I got to have a website, right? Mm-hmm. So I better figure out how to build it. So I dove into WordPress and figure out how to build a website, how to build a blog and content. But as I'm doing that, I also realized that she needed one too. I'm like, well, I guess I got to build it out for her also. And so kind of use that as a learning experience and as a testing ground.
That makes a lot of sense. Now I'm trying to think back, 2006, 2009, right? You've got one kid. Most people gain a lot of weight even the husbands gain a lot of weight too when they have their first kid. I understand that you've gone through your own health transformation over the last, how long would you say? Did it start in 2009? Is it more recent? Are you a Corona workout aficionado?
So this is a little bit of a longer story as far as like the background of all that. Yeah. So I think everyone, when they first get married, they tend to put on a little bit of weight, especially after having kids and things like that. And that was a little bit of the case for me. But in 2012, I had an emergency appendectomy. My appendix partially abrupted, and the doctor, when he took it out, he didn't get it entirely cleaned out, as clean out as he should have. And so because of that, I developed a secondary infection, ended up in the hospital for 10 days, nearly died. I was on multiple antibiotics, and basically it completely ruined my gut microbiome. And so basically from 2012 onward until about the past couple of years, I just couldn't lose weight. My testosterone was really low. I was just sluggish and tired all the time. And I just didn't feel like myself. I just didn't have the energy level and everything. And every time I would eat, I would get bloated. And so it's been a very long time coming where I've finally been able to make a lot of health changes, have done a complete elimination diet, a lot of water fasting and intermittent fasting as well. And basically reseeded my gut so that I don't get bloated anymore. And I'm down to my lowest weight since I think my freshman year of college. And just have lots more energy and feel a lot better. So that's taken a lot over the years.
Yeah. And I think the last thing that I wanted to prompt you on is something about a secluded hunting cabin that you have. I want to know about this before we jump into all the deep marketing stuff. Sure.
Well, I've always loved the outdoors. I've always been a hunter and just, love getting out there. And so I still have a little private getaway where when I first launched my marketing consultancy company, Spears Marketing, I had a client who specialized in log home and timber frame houses and structures and things like that. And so I built multiple websites for them. And so when I bought a piece of property and decided I wanted a log cabin on it just as a getaway where I could take my kids, family, my brothers, we could just go and just get away and kind of decompress and get back to nature and kind of rewild ourselves. And so I had them build that and kind of did a little bit of a trade-off. And so I get back there as often as I can just to kind of get away and decompress.
Man, I would recommend it to everybody. I was perusing some of the slide decks that you have posted on LinkedIn, and I found one that was really old. Can you tell me about the 4-point online market domination?
Yeah, that is a really old one. That was actually a marketing asset that I believe I had purchased from. I bought a lot of courses and things over the years as far as continuing education and just teaching myself. And I think that was a white labeled uh, piece that they gave us to use as a marketing piece for our potential clients. And I would say that that's probably not even that accurate now as far as some of the
So
information on it.
so let's fast forward then to 2020. Um, is there a 4-point online market domination? Like, what would you have everyone consider right now to start really dominating their online market?
To answer that question, let me ask you a question. What type of industry, business, niche, location? Because it's going to vary so much.
Ooh,
And
let's go Amazon.
okay,
Amazon products. Let's go nutrition.
okay,
'Cause
sure.
it is one of my least favorite markets because there's so many people competing in there, and it's really hard for me as a non-expert in wellness to figure out like what is right for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take the wellness market on Amazon.
Okay, sure. And this is a market that I know a little bit about, both because we've been in this industry for years,
Hmm.
not selling supplements, but promoting supplements as an affiliate, and being a very big affiliate for Amazon. So one of the biggest things that I would say, if a company, say they're new on the market, they're just coming out with their own product line, one of the things that they have to do, and that's one of the things we're doing right now with Wellness, is radical transparency. Building out a rock solid brand and being as open and honest and transparent with their customers and potential customers as they possibly can. In this day and age, the internet has opened things up so much. We're only one Google search away from finding all the bad press, all the bad reviews, or any skeletons in the closet. So because of that, companies have to be a lot more transparent and open with their customers. And so, answering every comment, every Instagram message, every Facebook post, every comment on your YouTube videos, all of that, and just building out a following based on being as open and transparent both about your ingredients, your marketing, all of that stuff, why you're doing it. And making sure you're in it for the right reasons and not just trying to white label something that was made in China.
I'm thinking about I'm reading Crushing It by Gary Vee again.
Great.
And there's another one, the Thank You Economy, right? He's got some great stuff. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I really like him now. He's all about personal branding, and in this conversation of like comment on every YouTube, respond to every blog comment, respond to every Instagram comment. I barely have time to play Pokemon with my kid. So I'm wondering, like, how do you guys do it? If you're truly like transparent and just nailing that customer service, customer centric side of your business, how do you do it? Like, pull back the veil for us and teach us.
That's a great question, Eric. So when wellnessmama.com was first starting, and say 2009, when we launched on that domain, and when Katie was she wrote every piece of content. She was responding to every comment that was on the site, every email that someone would respond to. And it was a lot of work, but it was because she cared so much. She gave a shit more than anyone else, because it was a hobby. It was a passion project. It was never supposed to be a business. It was just a hobby where she was writing down her own research and information that she was finding, trying to make our family or help our family be as healthy as possible. So it was just passion. And if you're passionate about something, you're going to do whatever it takes to make it grow. And because she was helping people as well. And so because of that, there was not a whole lot of sleep that happened. We try to keep as much balance as possible, but I think balance is a moving target and it kind of goes in stages. We'll work more here and then play more here and take breaks and then, all of that. I'm sure you've experienced that as well in your own business.
Man, sleep is one of those things that I have been unwilling to compromise for a long time.
Smart man.
I'm trying to do the LeBron James thing where he sleeps like 3 hours in the middle of the day,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so he can
Crazy.
work through the night.
Mhm.
So at what point did that become impossible for Katie?
Trying to think of the year. Probably around 2015, 2016, maybe. Well, So let me backtrack just a bit because I was already handling a lot of that for her or taking a lot of that off of her plate. Because in 2014, 2015, I kind of transitioned from Spears Marketing, being a boutique agency where I had employees and developers and designers and all that stuff that I was working with, got burnt out and kind of took a step back and said, hey, I'm going to focus primarily on Wellness Mama because it's growing really fast and there's a lot of potential there. And I think that's going to be in the best interest of our family. So I had taken over a lot of those tasks already. So she wouldn't have to and kind of help put systems in place so that all of her time wasn't spent just responding to people, whether that's comments or emails or social media. But then even that began getting overwhelming. And so that's when we started building out a team. And so I think the first position that we hired was our social media manager or community manager is what we called her. And so she would handle comments and social media and respond to emails and stuff like that. And she was still very actively involved doing that, but then she was primarily focusing on content creation, both writing new articles and then starting the podcast and doing all of those things, just focusing on the creative side and not just the responses that people were asking. Well, she would still do that too, but going like once a week as opposed to every day for a couple of hours.
Now only a Sith deals in absolutes, right? So I'm reluctant to even ask some of these questions, but I wonder, like, for digitally native vertical brands, which is what a lot of, that's Wellness Mama, right? It was born online. That's Wellness, that totally born online. The first position that you guys hired for was social media. Should that be pretty typical? Are people like hiring for the wrong positions, leveraging the wrong parts of their business? What would you encourage business owners that are kind of in that same starting arena like you guys were to do right now? Like, what's the first thing they should take off their plate?
I think it's going to depend on the company and the founders, the owner. What do they not want to do? What tasks do they absolutely hate? What's taking up the most time and is not the best use of their time? So if there's something that someone else can be hired to do that you don't like doing, and maybe you're not even that great at it, that should be the first thing that they should hire for, in my opinion, anyway. Mm-hmm. It made sense for us because, the first person that we hired was actually my sister-in-law. And just getting some help with the site and, answering comments, handling social media, doing like some administrative tasks and creating some images. And it was a very all-inclusive position where it wasn't just one-dimensional where you're the social media manager and all you do is handle social. It was customer service. It was like some design, like image creation. It was administrative things and some email organization and things like that. So again, that made sense for us at the time. So, but for many businesses, it might not. I think it's just going to depend on where the need is.
Everybody's concerned about making money, right? You got to get the cash flow. Everybody's just like, I'm starting this business to change my life. A lot of folks don't necessarily start these blogs and stuff because they really care about the customers and they're passionate about it. They do it because they know that that's a part of the business philosophy. And I just wonder, like, how can you nurture passion into a business? Or should it just be passion first, like ignore everything else, ignore making money and just day job it until your thing is making money? What do you think there?
I think that, again, like a lot of things, it's going to depend. What works for one may not work for another. How we went about building our business was very different than what a lot of people have done, where they first focus on, we're going to start a business and this is what we're going to do. We're going to take these steps and these steps and these steps. And we're going to look at all these other people, all these other companies and model them or mimic them or whatever. We never went into it like that because it was never a business. It was a hobby that became a business. It was like in 2010, 2011, where Katie was balancing our checkbook and said, hey, why are we getting money from Amazon? And forgetting that I had said, hey, Amazon has this associates program where if you sign up and you use a special link and somebody buys, then we can make money. And so, the first check was $15, something like that. Nothing big, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's like, hey, we actually made money online. Get out of here. No way. Which is really cool. So, again, it depends if somebody is getting into it specifically as a business. Like, take, for example, Wellness, our new company, which is a personal care line of products. That how we approach that is very different than how we approach Wellness Mama, which is content, information, and education. So because of that, our approach and the steps that we take are very, very different, just because one is very specifically a business, and the other, yeah, it's a business, makes a great income, it helps a lot of people, but it was never started like that. And so we've always run it very differently than most other people in the industry have, and continue to.
Yeah, there's been this fun little change in e-commerce in general. It seems like, I mean, like Rob Dyrdek, for instance, he launched. He's the host of Ridiculousness. He launched a protein brand called Live Momentous,
Okay.
and he was able to leverage his personal brand to now create a company brand. Same thing for like Dan Reynolds and Kevin Hart. They started a company called Vita Hustle, right? Like a lot of these. I mean, The Rock started, he's got like 5 businesses, I think. There's been this shift from
Casamigos tequila.
Yeah, there's the list just goes on and on of people launching brands, and it's a great idea. And like, yes, I'm all about it because they got the resources. Now, does that mean, it doesn't seem this way to me, but are they going to be just inherently more successful because of the following that they can already leverage? Or can the companies that actually don't have a personal brand start it on even playing field? Is there a way for them to build their business in such a way that they don't have to rely on the huge personal brands, or are they really going to be hindered? What do you think?
Great question. I think Kylie Jenner is a great example of leveraging your
My gosh, first
your celebrity
stud.
to just blow something up. Yeah, they have an advantage. Some people would say it's an unfair advantage, but they put in a lot of hard work to get where they are. No matter who the celebrity is, they didn't just arrive and they're there, and then all of a sudden they're a celebrity. They have thousands or millions and tens of millions of followers. So they have put in some work. Yeah, so they do have it easier. But I think they're also in a dangerous position as well, because they're so high up already, they have a lot further to fall. If they make a misstep, or they piss somebody off, or there's some report that comes out about their ingredients or really, really bad, or they use child slave labor or something like that,
Could be over.
Yeah, exactly. Their entire empire could be done, and they could be completely blacklisted. So they have an advantage for sure. But I think that you or I or anyone else who has no type of celebrity like that whatsoever, we don't have as far to fall if something like that happens, but we also have a little bit more of an uphill battle to grow something. We have to prove ourselves. We have to differentiate. We have to make better quality products. We have to be more open, more transparent. We have to hustle harder and, have better customer service or better branding or whatever the case may be.
Or just work your butt off right now and build a personal brand for your company, right? I despair at the amount of CEOs, quote unquote, who are not customer centric. They're not transparent. They don't have like a voice in their community. And to me, those people are doomed to either have like a strictly lifestyle business or just to close their doors eventually.
Yeah.
I wonder for these product companies, right? Should they start trying to build these personal brands inside of their organization? Should they themselves, as the executives, try to go the personal brand route in order to do it? Or is it just too late, right? They're already in a business, like, let's just climb to the top. Or do you think it's worth it for them to try the personal brand route for their company?
That's an interesting way to think about it. And I don't know that I have a great answer for it, because in some sense, humans are social creatures, and we seem to gravitate toward this cult of celebrity all the time. So anyone that they're on TV or the radio, or they have a podcast, or they have a blog or something, they have a large social media following. And that could be anyone that has even 1,000 more than you or I do. It seems like they have more credibility, and there's something we're more likely to follow them because of that. Like, it's kind of like the social principle of
The herd mentality almost.
Everyone else is following them, so I should too. They must know something because they have so many followers already. So because of that, if say the founder of a company, maybe they don't have their own personal brand, they're just building out their product company, and can they grow up faster if they start doing that? Maybe. But then again, maybe not. It might take away from the business, because then they're growing like almost like a side thing,
Sure.
their side brand, which whether they're trying to monetize it or not, or just putting out content and making themselves more visible and things like that, as
They're
opposed
just
to just
not focused.
yeah, as opposed to just focusing on the company and their products, and even if they're still leveraging themselves within the company like that, but not trying to grow it from the side, I think that might have more benefit at times. But again, it probably will depend on the company and the type of products that they have.
Yeah,
A
I
company,
definitely agree there. It's not just a one size fits all.
yeah, a company that I really like is Saddleback Leather. Are you familiar with them?
Uh huh.
Yeah, so and their founder Dave Munson, he's got this great story, and so he's intertwined within their brand. It's when he was in just out of college or something, he was down in Mexico, and he had this dog named Blue, and how the dog got kidnapped and by drug lords and stuff, and he found this leather shop and wanted to create these amazing leather goods and stuff. And now he's married with like multiple kids and stuff, and his story is still intertwined with the brand, but it's not like he's trying to build out his own personal brand aside from
Sure.
that, all within the greater story of the company of Saddleback Leather, which I find pretty interesting too.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to get better at storytelling in general, right? Like on your Amazon listings, especially on your website listings, you can tell a story in a picture, right?
Yeah.
And I would challenge everybody to do that. Can you make a poem in 2 lines? Can you make a haiku that speaks to someone's heart? Can you make an Amazon listing that speaks to someone's wallet?
Yeah. Great.
Now, you guys, you and Katie have produced so much content just over the years. I was on the website, and there's a reason that Wellness Mama is just so like this superpower in the wellness space. Is it about volume? Obviously, these things are quality, but like, what's the balance between quantity and quality in this type of business?
Yeah. My philosophy is quality over quantity. Don't just put something out to put something out. If you're going to do it, make sure that it's really good. Um, and one thing that we have always tried to do with every piece of content, at least over the past 5 or 6 years, is to make sure that every article that's written is evergreen, so that it's not just fly by night. It's not just relevant today, but it's going to be relevant tomorrow and a couple years down the road. And we're always updating and improving content as well. So we built out a team that helps with a lot of that. Like all of our health articles, we get them medically reviewed. We make sure that all of our sourcing, our citations, all of the references that we use, that they're accurate, because we want to provide great information that is real, it's helpful, and it's completely accurate for our readers. But to answer your question, I think there's a balance in there. You want to put out great content. You need to put out a lot of content and to see what's going to get traction. But and that's part of just doing the right things long enough consistently, which is one of my mottos for success.
Do the right things.
Do the right things long enough consistently.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, 2009 to now 2020. Oh no, like this is an evergreen now, right? Are you allowed to drop dates in evergreen content?
Yeah, so we've gone back and forth on that actually. For years, we had dates, and then we got rid of them, and then Google made some changes where they wanted to see dates based because a lot of times when someone is searching for something, and you know how in the search result you'll see published on or last updated on or things like that. So Google tends to like that right now. That may change tomorrow. Who knows? So we have added dates back, but we have both the publication date and when it was last updated on. And sometimes if we're updating a piece of content that's, say it was published in 2012, 2013, it'll get a big overhaul and then we'll completely republish it because it's probably 40% new anyway.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, there are a bunch of people who listen to this whose wives hate or husbands hate that they've started a business, or maybe there's like friction there. You and Katie seem to have done really well. You're both entrepreneurial minded. You've built this, what I can only call as an empire. And so I'm really curious as to how you guys have made that work in your marriage and in your life.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I don't think that will work for everyone. We have a lot of friends who they are very honest, like we would kill each other if we worked together, just because of either their differences or their similarities, maybe. Um, Katie and I, we tend to complement each other very well, our skill sets. She's very analytical. I'm analytical as well, but just what we're good at. Like I like to optimize everything. She's much more creative. I'm a better editor than I am just a writer, you know? So for example, most of like for years, every piece of content she would write, I edited everything. I would go through, and because as a journalism major, she couldn't take like a strong opinion on things. So she wrote more in the passive voice. But when you're writing, you know, on a publication or something like this, or on a blog, you don't necessarily want to write in the passive voice,
Need
especially if you're trying,
authority.
yeah, you want to have authority, and even, you know, you want to position it so it's not like I'm egotistical and this is the only way, but you know, you want to write well, and so that it's received very well. And also, if you're trying to sell something, it can't be passive. You've gotta hit those certain psychological triggers and pain points and reciprocity, and you know, all of that sort of thing. So because of that, I would edit all of everything that she wrote, and we now have an editor that does much more of that, but I still oversee a lot of it. But yeah, as far as working together, it can be a challenge at times, especially when we have differing opinions on things, where she'll just get a little overwhelmed with stuff and like, okay, no more new promotional partners. No, we don't want to work with anything else, like overwhelmed, stuff like that. I'm like, but there's an opportunity here. This is a good quality product, and I think it would be a good fit for the audience. And so it's trying to strike that balance, which can be tough. You know, we have 6 children, so that is also a balancing act as well, of raising kids and running businesses, and
Man.
you know, trying to be a good parent and a good husband and a good businessman, as well. So it's definitely a juggling act, and you know, at times it can be really stressful on our marriage too, because sometimes it's very hard to turn it off as far as like the business side. You know, put the kids to bed and then we're still on our laptops working in the evening, and so sometimes there's no downtime and able to just kind of hang out, relax, and remember why we're married in the first place.
Yeah, I almost wonder if there's like a good litmus test, you know, before a couple jumps 100% in, if they can just test it on something small, maybe arbitrage, right? Go to Ross and start scanning some products and see about it.
Yeah, you
What
know,
do
I
you
mean,
think?
possibly. I think something else. So, I mean, we both of us have done like a lot of like psychological work and like therapy and stuff over the past couple of years, and just learning more about ourselves, what makes us tick. And you know, inside of everyone, we've all got kind of this wounded child, just coming from how we were raised and our parents, and you know, trauma and experiences and all of that stuff. And there's a lot of those tests that kind of help determine like whether that's your attachment style or your love language or how you interact and things like that. And so taking a lot of those has been very helpful as far as just understanding ourselves better and how we relate to others. And so I'd say before someone makes the jump into trying to work with their partner or their spouse like that, it might not be a bad idea to take some of those.
Or before you get married,
That,
I
yeah,
go
yes,
and go
yep,
and take the color test, go and take
yes.
the 16 personalities. Yeah.
Kobe test,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
We'll post links to those.
Myers-Briggs, the
Yeah,
Enneagram.
we'll post links to all those bad guys.
There's
Those
so
bad.
many of them.
So Seth, what are some of the core questions that you would have listeners ask themselves right now? These are digital marketing people. These are marketing people. These are executives. These are Amazon companies. Some of them are, you know, lots of them are cross-platform. They've got Shopify. What are some of the questions that you would have them ask themselves today to help improve their business for tomorrow?
Number one, why are you in this business? Why do you do what you do? If you're not doing it because you love it, because you think that you're making a positive change or you're contributing to society, to humanity, um, maybe you should question, should you be doing that or not? I think passion is extremely important. I think leaving the world a better place is important. Um, there's so much noise in society, and we're in such a consumer driven society, um, that we don't need more widgets. We don't need more shiny things. We need better quality. We need people that have a strong ethic, they're doing it for the right reasons, no matter what that is, whether that's creating content, whether that's creating a product, whether that's our world leaders, doesn't matter what it is, but doing it for the right reason.
I love it. Where should I send everybody to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, well, right now, so our new thing is Wellness, WELLNESSE.com. So wellness with an E on the end. That's our new product line, which is personal care products. That because what you put on your skin actually goes in your body, and so that passion and doing having the quality instead of the quantity, it goes back to that. And so we've tried to incorporate all of those principles into our product line, and they've all been formulated by Katie in our kitchen over 10 years ago, and we're finally selling them to the masses. So that's probably the best place to kind of learn as far as what we're doing right now. Then obviously wellnessmama.com. You can see like all the content and everything there that we've done over the years. And yeah, those would be the two primary places, I think.
Go and check them out. Subscribe to their podcast. Seth, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Eric. It's been fun.
To finish today's podcast, I want to share some final thoughts. For brands to be successful on Amazon, a critical lever will be launching and managing Amazon advertising campaigns. We at BuyBox Experts are really big fans of the team at Kenshu. This sophisticated software helps brands to manage ad campaigns and gather further data intelligence across Amazon, Google, and Facebook platforms. We're excited that you joined us today. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the BuyBox Experts podcast. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web, and we'll see you next time.